It's Friday. I have another victim or guest. I'm joined by the amazing Barry from All the Beer, No Idea. I suppose, introduce yourself. Tell us about your channel.
You're too kind, Thomas. You're too kind. Tell you about my channel.
Yes, yeah.
Well, my channel. Oh, just over a year old now, as you well know.
Yeah.
Started out as a hobby, still is a hobby, really, and it's just grown. It's just a bit of fun, really, and I enjoy meeting some of you guys and making friendships and trying lots of different beer. Although it hurts the pocket, doesn't it? Really, sometimes, to be honest. But yeah, and a few food things as well.
Yeah, your spicy channels, Spice and Easy's Reaper challenge last Friday was very interesting.
Yeah, probably more interesting your side than mine.
You're a great man taking it on. Yeah, I know. Spice me, I can handle a certain level, and after that, it just comes pointless to me because it's just all burn, and I wouldn't.
No,
Yeah.
I agree, but you know, we do daft things, I suppose.
I suppose, what was the kind of reason behind starting the channel then? I know you did Facebook before, or doing kind of reviews on Facebook. I know Scott was he helping you out at the start?
Well, originally it was all. I used to watch a few beer reviews here and there, and I don't even know how I got onto it. I think I would just search certain videos. Funny enough, I think it actually probably started with when I was thinking of getting draft.
Yeah.
Done a little bit of searching on YouTube. Found the Beer Hooligan. Watched some of his, and then you watch one, and then others come up, don't they? And I just watched a few, and then Beer Hooligan put me onto Scott to watch him and that, and then I just started watching loads, and it seemed like fun. It seemed like fun, and I thought, I don't know how long I'd been watching for, but I thought, I fancy having a go at this. I wonder if I could do it.
Yeah, I think that everything kind of starts that way. They have their, can I bring something different or new to the?
Yeah, I think it was. It just looked fun to me, and I thought, you know, I suppose it's one of them daft things. Like anything in life, you think, oh, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. But you only ever think of maybe one video ahead or something. It's a bit weird, but yeah, it's fun. Like I say, I enjoy it. It's nice meeting all the other reviewers out there and seeing what they have to say about things, and you know, it's just.
I suppose, who did he used to watch then? You said Beer Hooligan.
Simon. Real Ale Craft Beer were probably the two that I was watching, and like I said, it was I found Mark just really because of the Perfect Draft. He'd put a couple of videos up, so I watched them, and then as you say, you get I'll watch one of his beer videos. I'll watch one of them. I'll watch one of them, and you watch them, and then obviously Simon come up on. Reviews and that, and then I don't really know who I sort of started watching after that. I might have been dabbling around watching Dean on a few, and like I say, Mark mentioned Scott and Wanda right at the that was when they were literally just sort of started, and yeah, and then before you know it, you're watching one here, one there, one here, and then you get a channel, and then before you know it, you got 300 bloody people or whatever, and you just can't watch them all. You just can't watch them all. You tend to pick a few, I think, that just you sit down and watch, and every now and then there'll be videos that crop up, and you think, oh, I'll have a listen, I'll watch that. But yeah, that's pretty simple, really, how it is.
David Jones is asking what we're drinking. So
David Jones.
I'm drinking Kingar Royale.
Thomas is on the fancy stuff. I'm just on the Goose Island Hell's Lager from the Perfect Draft, because it's sitting there and I've got a few pints of it. So it's, I'd be gutted if I drank a beer that I couldn't sit here and review.
I suppose getting on to the bad points about YouTube or social media then. What are the bad points?
Social media, everything. I mean, we've all got views, haven't we? And I'm not going to try and point out certain people, but social media wise, apart from the beer, you know, this isn't from the beer channel kind of thing, but just social media in general, idiots, fuckwits, just you know, I suppose it's just like anyone, we all find people that annoy us, don't we? Just, yeah. And as for YouTube, well, there's too much bitchiness goes on YouTube. I don't need to mention names. We all know there's certain people about there, Thomas, don't we? We've seen it all, and I try and keep out of it. It's not, you know, I understand why some people get upset by certain things and what have you. I'm more of a case of just turning a blind eye.
Well, unless someone's deliberately going around and calling you out in every video. But then again, you just move on. You block them. I don't know what to do. Like, you just gotta get over it. It's only YouTube. Unless it's your job, which is very few people will ever be. Just get on.
Yeah, I think if it's your job and you're doing stuff, I think even then you just need to just ignore it. Don't lower yourself to what other people are doing. I think myself.
Alan Mead has just subbed you.
Oh.
Okay. So what's your favorite kind of food? Then we're talking about food. You did the spicy towns last week.
Favorite food? Oh, right. I do like curries. I do like spicy food. Favorite food? Oh dear. If you saw my waistline, Thomas, you'd realise there isn't a particular favourite kind of food. It's just anything that's on a plate in front of me.
Okay, well then I'll put you another way. Last meal then. If you had to have a last meal, what would you go for?
Oh, that's hard. That's hard as well.
Dessert or main dessert?
Oh dear. I wouldn't do a Carolina Reaper anyway as a last meal. I want to eat my last meal and actually sit there and savour it. But oh, I don't know. I like Chinese food. I like Indian food. I like good old British kind of cottage pie and roast dinners and English breakfast, and I like all sorts really. It's my last meal would depend on how I felt that day. It could end up being a big bar of dairy milk chocolate and a bag of Sensations. I don't know.
What way do you think the food industry or the beer industry is going to recover after COVID-19?
I think they will recover anyway. Certainly, there's a lot of places that have closed, isn't there? But I think people in England just love beer, don't they?
Yeah.
The bigger breweries, all right, they're probably going to be the ones that are going to find it easier to recover, because people will go out, they'll start going to the pubs again. You know, it's not necessarily the likes of, say, me, you, certain other beer reviewers, if you like, who like drinking different stuff, but you're always going to have your bog standard beer drinker, and they're going to pull most of the pubs through. As for microbreweries, I don't know, I suppose they rely on the likes of me and you, really. They're going to find it harder, aren't they? Because I'm guessing a lot of them don't have the backing. But I suppose as long as they keep producing good beer, and there's lots of beer reviewers out there, they're always going to sell some.
Yeah. Do you think some of the regional breweries, kind of in England, the cask ale ones, do you think some of them? Do you think some people might move away from them? They've been drinking maybe, let's say, craft beer at home, or been drinking more the other macro beers at home, and people go back to them?
Well, the tide's turning now. I love traditional beers anyway. I'm not all craft beer stuff myself, but the craft beer is heading towards younger people.
Unless you had an awesome wage, you couldn't be all craft. It's just too expensive.
Yeah. But I think it's they're aiming for youngsters now, aren't they? Craft beer, and it's all right for older people like me, who have grown up with bitters, milds, ales. We know what other stuff there is about, and it's not a fashion statement, if you like, to drink a craft beer, although it's very nice now and then, whereas youngsters are being brought up on craft stuff. So you may well see the traditional ale places sort of struggle, but I think as long as there's a few older people like me, they'll be all right for a few more years yet.
Do you think some of the craft and the old ones could merge, and as the younger people mature and will try different things and will accept that a good beer is a good beer, and if it's local and it's good and it's at a reasonable price?
I mean, that's a plus for them, isn't it? I mean, as you say, craft beer is expensive. You know, you've got to be in some kind of job if you can afford to just keep banging out craft beer and drinking it. But I find craft beer myself is great, but it's not stuff I could session generally. So, I mean, there's another plus point for sort of traditional stuff. As for youngsters getting into traditional beers, again, I suppose it's a bit of that's sort of like a bit of a job for the likes of us beer reviewers that put it out there on YouTube, I suppose, and recommend traditional ales that are decent and that. And maybe if you've got youngsters watching, or younger ones, I should say, they may well go out and try it and be tempted.
Yeah, I suppose in Ireland we wouldn't have, as you know, kind of that traditional or that local brewery, because kind of Guinness took over, Heineken took over. The most traditional brewery, if you are going regional, would be the one that's close to me, O'Hara's, which is next year I'm going to drink. And they're about, 25 years old?
Okay.
So, Alan, probably a good question here. I was going to ask you later, have you got any free beer, or have you got any promotions from breweries, or do you accept promotions from breweries?
I've had some beers from Lord's Brewing. John kindly sent me 6 beers, and I knew nothing about it. They turned up, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And it wasn't until I looked at the label that I saw it was beers from there. I've never had anything from any other breweries. I've had a couple of people send me beers from the channel.
Yeah, it'll be more of a problem with the breweries now, because if people want to send you beers, or if you want to do beer swaps with people, that's a different thing.
Yeah. Would I accept beers if they wanted to send them? Of course I would. I would accept them. Why not? But I would be honest in my opinions on it. I would try not to be scathing, because obviously someone gives you a beer, you have to. I think you've got to be grateful, and you've got to have a little bit of, how can we put it? What's the word? You've got to be a little bit sensible in your views. It doesn't mean you have to like it, though.
Yeah. Would you research the beer then? Would you research the price?
Probably. I would probably, if a brewery was asking me if I would take some beers, I would probably ask them sort of what sort of price these beers are going to be knocked out at, and that. If they were beers that were already released, if I knew nothing about it, I would do research. I do little bits of research now. There's certain beers that I don't know things about, and I do little bits, but you know, generally I sort of know something about it, as we all do, don't we?
David Jones has a question for you, asking, how old are you? I don't know why Dave wants to know this, but...
How old am I? I'm 50 this year. 50 in July. 50 in July.
I think David Jones is not too far from you, if he's still watching. I think he's from Wales. I'm not sure what part, but...
I'm North Wales. I'm actually England, but it's literally on the border of Wales. Well, when I used to go to the pubs, you used to have the Welsh come over the border just to come and fight the English on a Friday night. That was what they done. That's how close we are.
Getting to a different kind of question. Are we alone?
Are we what?
Are we alone?
Are we alone? Yes, I have no wife here. If
Is that how you're going to answer the question? Are we alone?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's all you're asking, isn't it? Are we alone?
Not really, but are you religious?
Am I religious? No.
Yeah.
Personally, no. No, not, you know, if people are into religion and that's what they're into, that's up to them.
Do you believe in an afterlife then?
Believe in the what?
Afterlife.
Afterlife.
Heaven, hell.
Yeah, I mean, this is a funny thing now, because I could give a different answer. I believe in it. I don't know. I'm curious about things. Okay. I'm curious. I'm sort of open-minded to certain things and not to others.
Okay.
Religion for me personally causes more trouble in the world than anything. Along that and money. So.
He's from South Wales, so.
South Wales, yeah. Miles away we are.
Okay.
It's very nice of you, David.
Would you obey an order to hurt someone?
Would I obey an order to kill someone?
Hurt someone. We're going to kill
hurt someone.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. Ooh.
So I'll give you context. I have a gun or criminals have a gun to your wife. If you don't kill someone, they're going to kill your wife.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you feel?
I've often said. Have you ever seen or heard of the film The Purge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've said to my missus many a time, if we had one of them, I've got a list of people I'd go out and look for. There are certain ones I can't stand, and I would happily see gone. But that doesn't make me a murderer straight away, by the way, you know. This isn't like a police. It's not. You're not a secret policeman, are you?
You can ask questions after, yeah. Would you help someone in trouble?
Would I help someone in trouble?
No. Think about the question now before we answer. Would you help someone in trouble? There's follow
up. Depends what they was in trouble for.
Okay, good answer.
It's I think every situation has a right and wrong in it. It's quite tough, isn't it?
I don't think so. 3 people to invite to a dinner. 3 people who are dead, and 3 people who are alive. You can go famous, or you can go friends or family. Or
right, 3 people who are dead. Laurel and Hardy. There's 2.
Okay.
Love Laurel and Hardy. Brilliant. And me dad.
Okay, 3 people who are living besides your immediate family.
People who are living: David Jason from Only Fools and Horses. God, blimey. 3 people are alive. I don't like many people when they're alive. God, off the top of my head, blimey. It's a tough one, that. Tough one. I'd have to think about another 2, to be honest.
Okay. Do you believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens? No.
So
That's
do you believe
quite simple, that one. I don't, you know, I'll be very surprised if there was something out there, to be honest.
You believe that the Earth is round or flat?
Round.
Okay.
Because I reckon I would have fallen off it otherwise ages ago.
Perfect day.
Perfect day.
Yeah.
Perfect day. Wake up in the morning, sun shining, a nice full English breakfast to start. Head out. Do a few things that I would like to do, which is, you know, there could be anything. A sunny day, it's nice to have a day down the beach. Be nice to go off exploring somewhere. Maybe a bit of lunch and a pint. Maybe head off and do a couple more bits and bobs somewhere, you know, like visiting places. And a nice
perfect day in Quad. You don't have more than that. I'll visit somewhere and I'll go here and I'll have a bit of lunch. Come on.
My God, I've been locked in for 18 months. Perfect day's just getting out. Perfect day then. A perfect day. There you are. Yeah, I'll give you an example. It's never going to happen. Perfect day. The sun will be shining. I'll have me breakfast. I'll pop on the train about 11 o'clock. Going to watch Sheffield United win the final Premier League game to win the league. A few pints. They'll win the league. I'll get absolutely legless and make it home in the next 2 or 3 days.
I see you didn't answer with your family in the perfect day.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like me. If I supported Everton, I could have the perfect day with me missus, but that's not going to happen. So, and Everton are never going to win the league, are they? So,
no. You have more chance. You have more chance. I think. What are you like in school? If you could remember that.
What was I like in school?
Yeah.
As in my behaviour or just my ability?
What you like? What was your ability? Were you the shy kid? Were you the loud kid? Were you the kid that would beat people up at lunchtime?
No, quite quiet, shy probably. Not particularly clever. I didn't come out of school with anything really. Most of my grades were E's, F's ungraded, you know what I mean? I'm not clever, I know that. Hence the reason I work for myself. Ooh. Got picked on a few times in school. I wasn't someone who beat people up or had done anything like that. I had friends, but I got bullied here and there now and then. But I think everyone does at some point. Yeah, just average happy-go-lucky, really. Quiet. Tried to keep the peace. Nicknames. Oh God. Bruce Lee. Bruce, I used to get called a few times. I can't think of any, no.
Okay.
Other than sort of Baz, but that's not really a nickname, is it, as such?
Favorite subject?
Favorite subject at school?
Yeah.
Art.
Okay. Any teachers inspire you?
Any teachers no.
Okay. Well, first job out of school then, what age?
What age? Well, Christ, out of school, I had a paper round when I was in school. I had a paper round at the age of 13, so I was getting up at 6 o'clock then, or I was at the paper shop at 6 o'clock and delivering me round before school. But when I left school, I moved to where I am. Literally, my mum moved up to where I am now, and I was just finishing my exams where I used to live in Surrey.
Okay.
So I come up here, up to Shropshire then, and my first job was in a factory, and funny enough, it was painting and decorating. So I obviously had no experience, but there was a painting and decorating job half an hour away from my house, and I worked there for a whole day. He was a slave driver. He'd get me to do all the work and he'd piss off, and I'd done one day and I said, fuck this, I'm going. And ended up on the YTS.
Okay, you're going to have to explain the YTS to me then, because from Ireland, I've no. Was that an apprenticeship program?
Yeah, youth training scheme it was. And where I went was a place, they done bricklaying, painting and decorating and joinery. And I done the painting and decorating there. So I was on that for a couple of years. After about a year, well, no, it was a 2-year course. After about a year, I was taken on by a decorator. Still through the YTS scheme.
Okay.
So I was working there for a while. Then he took me on, and then about 6 months afterwards, I got laid off. So I was out of work for 3 months and then started working in Iceland Frozen Foods. So took a whole different route for ages.
How long did you last in Iceland?
I was there for a while. 91 I started, left in 97.
And you went out on your own then, did you?
No, I never used to drive. So I've had a few jobs. It sounds bad, but I left Iceland and then I worked in a local factory on a 210 shift. It was picking orders for Quick Save in a freezer. So I'd done that for a little bit. Then I went on to the day shift, doing the same sort of thing. And when did I leave there? I then worked in Sainsbury's for a little bit, but I'd already applied to go on the post.
Okay.
So I worked in Sainsbury's for a bit, and then the job come up for the post. I started there. I was there for 4 years on the post, got me driving license and everything. Left there. And then I worked for Evans Construction. It was civil engineering, doing groundworks. And I'd done that for 4 years. And I got sick of the bloke I was working with. I was with him for about 2 years, and he was the sort of bloke that nobody ever wanted to work with, and I got lumbered with him. And I just I'd had enough, and I rang the boss up one night and I said, I'm jacking, I won't be back in, which he wasn't very happy. He tried ringing me back and everything and giving me a mouthful, but I just ignored his phone calls. And then I was unemployed then for a bit. I couldn't get a job because I walked out on the job. It's not something I normally do, walk out. I tend to, when I've left a job, I've always made sure I've had something. And I thought I'd be all right getting another job. And that didn't happen. And at the same time, my mum was ill and she died about 2 months later. So everything was all up in the air for a bit. And I ended up working in another factory, making car parts, doing welding and that. And that was absolutely awful. I hated every minute of it. And then I was there for about 12 months. And then my ex-wife, I caught her cheating.
Okay.
So I caught her cheating. I did have a dart shop at the time as well, sort of trying to start up on my own, doing some dart stuff. I caught my wife having messing around. So my dart shop went all tits up, and I got sacked from my factory job because I wanted time off because I was only agency.
Yeah.
So everything went in about a month. I think it was. Well, no, in about 12 months, I'd lost pretty much everything. Sort of went tits up, and then I just got in with a builder doing some decorating, and then that was 9 years ago, and I'm properly all self-employed with my own van and everything now, and everything's going well. And since then, remarried as well. So
that was an eventful journey. I think that probably one of the most interesting. You've lived a life, I think.
I certainly had 2 years where life was it was a fair old roller coaster, but other than that, I mean, life's been quite good, really. I can't complain too much.
Yeah, but I think you worked in a lot of places, experienced life, ups and downs.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, where I live, I suppose it's I don't know. It's probably just me, you know. It's I suppose anyone just goes in and out of jobs at times, don't they? Because I never drove, I suppose I never had the inkling to go back into painting or anything.
Can I ask why you didn't drive? Was there no need? Were you just so close to factories that you could get jobs?
Had no need, really, personally.
Yeah.
I never had the urge, and I live in a little town, so really the jobs that I had or I have had have always been sort of within sort of 10 minutes. So I've never really had the urge. So, but it did get to the point that I wanted to drive, because when I was on the post, I was only part-time. So it was doing local rounds in the town, but I wanted to go full-time, get more money as you do.
Okay. First mobile phone. We'll go with something nice and easy.
I think my first one, I think it was the old 3310, I think. Everyone knows the 3310.
Yeah. I think I had it myself. First, you started driving late. What was your first car or van then?
My first car, I passed my test. When did I pass my test? It was about, I think I passed my test in about 2006. So I've only been driving sort of 15 years, I think. My first car was a Ford Mondeo 1.8.
Would you consider yourself a good driver?
I have my moments, but yeah, from what I see on the roads now, I'm not perfect by no means, but I think I'm a lot more aware than other people on the road.
And car crashes, you started late, so I'm not going to consider you haven't had a car crash.
Well, I was in a car crash with a mate, but that was nothing to do with me, or not even my car. But I was in one of them years ago. What have I had? No, I've had one in when I was on the post. I was in a bump on the post, and I'm not even going to put that down to me. I'm going to put that down to a young lad who was driving like a nutter, because I actually ended up taking the van into a hedge to avoid him, and he still hit me. Otherwise, it would have been head on.
Last time you were rejected?
Last time I was rejected?
Yeah.
By the wife, or just a woman in general?
Why were you undertaken?
My wife never rejects me. She'll never reject me. She's always happy, but I suppose before I got married and that, don't know really. I don't know, because I was always shot. I've never been one to think that I'm some kind of God's gift to women. So it's rare that I ever. You sort of get chatting to women and that, but it's rare that I've ever thought I was so wonderful, piled in there and been rejected from anyone. You know what I mean? I've sort of got talking to girls in the past, you know, when I was younger, and you sort of get a feeling, I think, whether anything's there. So I don't know. If the bigger if I'm thinking of rejection, I would probably say Tenerife in about 1990 on my first lads holiday. I thought I was in and got rejected then.
Was it hard after your first marriage to meet someone then?
No, not really. No, I didn't. Get on with it, didn't you?
Okay. How would a friend describe you in 3 words?
Oh, Christ. Ooh, I don't know. Really. Depends who you ask. I would say in 3 words: beer, darts, and I don't know, funny maybe. My wife would have 3 different answers, but the beer would be there.
Okay, then how would your wife describe you in 3 words?
Oh God, beer. Beer, grumpy. And hard working, if you can put that into one.
Okay. Best accomplishment.
Best accomplishment. There's probably a couple, but I suppose probably actually starting up my own business and making a living for the last 9 years probably is certainly, that's a big life accomplishment. I think things were quite hard. We were struggling for money, so I didn't have contacts in the painting game either, so I did literally build it up from zilch. So I mean that's a big accomplishment. Darts wise, I've had some good accomplishments in the darts, playing darts, but probably it depends on how you want to look at it really.
Well, where do you think the world is? I know you have 1 child. Do you have any fears for the future?
Well, I've actually got 3 kids.
Okay.
All inherited as well. None of mine. All inherited because I never wanted kids, which is quite funny. And then I took on 3 girls and one of them special needs. So where do I see the world? I wouldn't want to be growing up in this world. I see too much stuff in this world that I think is just ridiculous. I just wouldn't want to be growing up. I think people are selfish. They're inconsiderate. There's no manners. There's nothing. There's so much that's bad about it, Okay. And obviously with the COVID as well, I mean, you can't do nothing either, can you?
How do you think the younger children? How do you think they've handled COVID? Do you think they've been affected?
My children or children in general?
Children in general.
I think in general. I mean, it's a bit of a tricky subject. This. I'll be conservative. I'll be conservative because clearly some people have struggled. Youngsters have, some have, but I think they have so much around them that should make it easier for them with the internet and everything, apps, and they have so much that they maybe don't realize how lucky they are, but sometimes it's just mental health and whatever, I suppose. So unless you're in that situation, you can't be too harsh, I suppose, on people.
Yeah, if you're walking in someone else's shoes, I suppose it's always different.
It's easy to sit and criticize, and I'm the biggest one for it. I'll admit that. But sometimes you have to take a step back and think, well,
Has anyone come to you and asked for work? In general?
Yes. Well, as in asking if they'll take me on, if I'll take them on, you mean?
Work for you, say apprenticeship or,
Yeah, I did have I've only ever had one young lad ask me for work, and at the time, although I was ticking over, and it's pretty much in general, I tick over nicely, but I don't have enough work really to take on another person.
Yeah.
I could be really busy, but if you had two people there, you know, your work could dry up instantly. So unless you've got 12 months work ahead of you constantly, I think you're better off on your own.
Yeah. Okay. If you won the lotto, what would you do?
If I won the lottery?
Yeah.
Oh, this is good, because me and the missus always talk about this. The house we live in is rented. It's specially adapted for when we moved in with the special needs daughter. And we've always said, if we won the lottery, we would buy this house off the house in place. And we would extend, we would redesign well, not all of it, but we would do an awful lot to it. We would get a caravan and live in a caravan for so long. And we would just buy the house and blitz it and have it how we wanted. But we wouldn't move. We wouldn't move because we like where we are. Other than that, probably have a new van, probably have a nice new car, probably have a few more holidays, and just actually live without worrying about anything really, I suppose.
So none.
I could afford the fancy craft beers then.
Would you still work?
Yes, I think I would. I wouldn't work so much. I would pick and choose because I get bored easy.
And do you speak any other languages?
English, and that's it. And I struggle with that.
Cat or dog?
Cats. We've got 3 cats, so it's always cats. Always cats with me.
Lowest point in your life?
Lowest point in my life? Probably them 2 years, really. Probably them 2 years. Or sort of 12, well, it's probably 12 months. My mum died in March of 2011. I was obviously struggling for work then. And then by February the following year, my marriage had gone tits up. And then I lost my job. And then, so, yeah, probably those were the hardest times, really. And I was having to give up doing my little dart shop that I had, which I enjoyed doing that. And so it was probably that.
Okay. And would there be much business for dart shops? I know. I don't think darts is as big here. Were you busy that time, or?
Well, I hadn't been going long. I'd only been going about 12 months, 18 months. It was picking up where I live. The problem is you've got the internet, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you're always competing with them, and darts is a niche market, but it was something I wanted to try. For that 18 months, I wasn't getting anything out of it, but I had an awful lot of stock because it was just a case of replenishing. I had that, and I'd done some football stuff as well, you know. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a go at something, didn't I? And that's the main thing.
It's very, you've tried it and saying, why didn't I go for that? And maybe it would have worked out or something. Yeah.
I was gutted when I stopped doing it because I did enjoy doing it, but it was, I mean, now it's doesn't make any odds now. It's just
okay. David Jones has come in with top 5 dart players.
Top 5 dart players.
Besides yourself, you know, you can put yourself at number 1.
No, God, no. I wouldn't be at number 6,000 to me. Top 5. Eric Bristow's got to be up there because he's who I grew up with. John Lowe was a great player as well. Phil Taylor. I can't stand Phil Taylor, but my God, what a player he was. Michael Van Gerwen has got to be there. And a fifth one. I got to look around. I'm trying to think of players now. Ooh, a fifth one. hard to pick a fifth one. I think there's lots of other good players, but those would probably be my top four.
Pick one person to be stranded on a desert island to would.
One person to be stranded on a desert island with. Well, my wife's not in, so I don't have to say her. Cool. It's a tricky one, this. Do you want to be made to laugh, or do you want riveting conversation? I don't do riveting conversation, so it'd have to be something. Stan Laurel, or David Jason.
Okay.
Actually, possibly Mickey Flanagan as well. Mickey Flanagan. I'd meet him if he was alive. Well, he is alive. I'd meet him. I like Mickey Flanagan.
You see, I'd probably go versus someone like Bear Grylls or something that he's
yeah, well, I'd be no use to him, really. He'd probably get fed up with trying to keep me alive and leave me anyway, so I may as well die laughing.
Do you have any family traditions?
I don't know. I wasn't really from a close-knit family myself, so we never really had anything. My wife likes, family traditions. I don't know. She's big on the birthday thing. Everyone's got to have a birthday, sort of do. I'm like, I don't really care now, but I wouldn't say any major traditions, really.
Okay. Raggy has come in and asked your top 5 beers.
Top 5 beers? God, blimey. Jesus, it's so hard, isn't it? Because you drink so many, you have a favourite beer for 1 minute, and then you get a different one, don't you? Jesus.
Well, your 5 go-to beers, was it then? Not top 5 go-to beers. It's easier to answer.
Do you know what? Even the go-to beers are gone now because you drink so many. You're just constantly swapping over, aren't you? Go-to beers. Francis Scanner wheat beer. I love that. Oh God. I don't know. I honestly, it's all changed now with what I drink. So, my go-to beer used to be Budweiser. I used to always love Budweiser, 5% stuff. But off the top of my head, the nearest thing I can give you is a Francis Scanner. Actually, not Francis Scanner wheat beer, but yeah, it'd be Francis Scanner Royal. So that's the darker, heavier one. I do enjoy that. Every time that comes out on the Perfect Draft, I'm on it like a shot. But other than that,
Raggy's come back. Is that not an easy question?
No, it's not. It's not, because Raggy should know. He's constantly drinking different beers. And I just find I never stick to one beer now, really.
No,
certainly not craft beers.
Well, it doesn't have to be craft. 5 go-to beers. Doesn't have to be craft.
Well, but I know even just 5 beers I generally buy on me machines. Okay.
Yeah.
5 beers. Francis Scanner Royal would be one. God, I've got to look at them all now. Hasseröder, which is a German Pilsner. Heineken on the blade. Zipfer Ertip, that thing, however you say it. Zipfer on the Heineken blade. That's an Austrian Pilsner. That's really good. That would be a regular. And Lagunitas IPA on the blade. That would be a regular purchase for me.
Okay. Alan Meader's coming in. It's a good stream tonight. So thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Cheers, mate.
David Jones has come back. No card.
Oh God, no. The worst thing is, I think we've all been there. I bet nearly everybody used to drink Carling. I mean, you've probably got some that would drink. You were either a Carling drinker, I think, a John Smith drinker, or you drunk Guinness. I think years ago, that's just what people drunk, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I would have started out on probably Budweiser, kind of moved to Heineken and Carlsberg, and then I kind of grew up and started drinking different beers.
Yeah, yeah. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah. Square Table has asked, have you been to United States?
Yes, I have. I've been to Florida. Funny enough, I was in Florida when the two towers were bombed. 2001. I was there then with my ex-wife. And I've been to Vegas with my new wife because she's got family there. So we went there about 5 years ago now. So yeah, and I like America actually. I could actually live in America.
I couldn't. Raggy said his favorite changes all the time.
Yeah, it does. You always find something new, don't you, that comes out and you go, wow, that's great.
Okay, David Jones. I hate doing this comments. I'm useless at comments. Reading them out, I always get trouble that I'm going to read it wrong. Yeah, love some Heineken. That's David Jones. Heineken for me. That's Raggy. Okay.
He drinks all three now.
Mine's so bitter. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to like that actually. I used to like Mansfield. I used to like Worthington's actually. Worthington's Smooth Flow and Boddington's. Very easy to drink.
Come on, Alan Beaters come back. Hop House 13 isn't bad.
Oh, I have reviewed that. I don't think I was too kind on it, really. I wasn't bad, but you know.
I was terrible on it, but that's because it comes from Guinness. Can
I disappear for 2 seconds, Thomas?
No problem.
I've just got a cat wanting to go out. It's annoying me by meowing.
Yeah, not my sort of thing. Square Table. I'm not sure if Barry's up for it, but you never know. I never refuse the opportunity. Square Table's asking you a question.
What's... I don't do any of that stuff. Don't do any of that stuff, sorry.
Okay, well, you're sitting with Square Table, having a pint. He offers you something. Would you refuse?
I genuinely wouldn't. I'll tell you what, that is one thing I'm not into, and I'm quite anti.
Would you be
the old exotic tobacco and drugs? I'm quite anti that, to be honest.
Would you be against legalization of it then?
Yes, probably. I understand there's it works for some people for certain things, but I probably would be. Yeah, I'm a bit of a square when it comes to that stuff. Which is
so. I'm not sure you have referendums in UK. If there was a referendum tomorrow to legalize it, you'd be against it.
I would, yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Great if it's used for the right reasons, but we all know that would be exploited, don't we?
Yeah, but do you not think if it was done in a legal way that people would be getting controlled, the drug would be controlled, and people would know what they're getting, and it wouldn't be coming stronger and stronger and stronger, mixed with other drugs?
I mean, I couldn't see it being controlled.
Yeah, but if it's coming from, say, a government shop, and these are your choices, and the lay person who doesn't want to go deal with the drug dealer, who will pay the bit extra, will pay, I'm not sure what it is, but like.
What do you mean you're not sure what it is? Come on. You know the
I'm too old. I'm too old I am too old for all that. Well, okay, let's see. What movies are you into? That's
what movies? Probably my main thing is comedies. I like comedies. I like Adam Sandler. He just makes me laugh. But then every now and then you like something a bit different, don't you? You know, I like a good horror film. Horrors and comedies probably my main thing, and then I'll just dabble in anything that sort of looks good.
Yeah. What kind of music into then?
Music. Ooh.
Yeah.
Beatles, Oasis, In Spiral Carpets, Stone Roses, lots of stuff. I like 60s stuff. 70s, I wouldn't say I'm not into 70s, but I do, you know, if a certain song comes on, you know, that you like, you kind of have a bit of a boogie, don't you?
So if I gave you a ticket to Glastonbury, would you go?
Yeah, I'd be up for that. I'm not into dance music or anything, though, really. Not, you know, that's probably the only style that I would say, not into that. There might be the odd song I like, but very rare that I'm into dance stuff.
Square Table says he's going to get rich if it's legalized fully. You have to share with your friends. You have to share your.
Got to share the wealth. You keep the drugs, I'll have your money.
Okay. Good crime thriller for Alan. Hi, Vanessa. How you doing?
Hi, Vanessa.
And Alan says hi, Vanessa. What's the last time you cried?
Last time I cried. Ooh.
You told me about the stream, of course.
Last time I cried. Probably when me Mrs. Granddad died. Just because she used the same music at his funeral as I had for my mum's funeral. So it brought back memories. I've had the odd tear here and there. My missus wasn't well going back a few months ago, and she had to go and have tests, so it could have been cancer or something. So that was sort of like a little bit worrying, but probably at her granddad's funeral, I would say.
What's the greatest challenge you've overcome?
Christ. Sometimes waking up in the morning after 10 pints. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Greatest challenge I've overcome. Cool, blimey. Probably them sort of 12, 18 months that I said before, really. A lot going on and a lot suddenly sort of happening.
Do you wake up happy or sad?
Do I wake up happy or sad?
Yeah.
Well, that depends. Sometimes that depends on how many beers I've had. Sometimes it's just downright grumpy. Sometimes I'm generally, I think, quite happy. Okay, but I can be quite a person.
Yeah. What makes you laugh then?
What makes me laugh? Yeah. Anything funny. Sometimes my missus makes me laugh, and other times she makes me want to pull my hair out. But what makes me laugh? God. My neighbours make me laugh because they're a bit weird, they are. So I just find them a bit weird and they make me laugh because I look at them and I just think, what the hell are you fucking doing? But yeah, comedy. Any comedy really, things, you know.
Okay. Any regrets in life?
Any regrets? Not too many. There's probably the odd thing that I would have done differently, I think. It would be interesting if I'd chosen a different, when my mum moved up here, if I'd actually chosen to stay down there, it would have been interesting to know what might have happened then. but I try not to have too many regrets. I try not to have any regrets, really. I'd like to think I've lived it as I want to.
David Jones has come with best comedian.
Best comedies. He's put best comedies. Best comedies. The Wedding Singer. I love that. Uncle Buck. I love that. Yeah, they're probably the main two. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Really funny. Yeah, them off the top of my head for films.
Most embarrassing moment of your life.
Most embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
I've probably had a few I can't remember. I remember one when I was probably about, oh Christ, 8, 9 maybe. And this was horrendous. You're gonna love this. I hated it. It was when skateboards were all the big thing. So a few of us would go out skateboarding, and there we were going down some hill round a bend, and the others were ahead of me. I was sat down on my skateboard. I went round this turning and I slipped off, right? Straight on the grass, and I slipped straight through a big lump of dog shit. And I had dog shit all up the side of my leg, and it absolutely stunk. And I had to walk home. It took about 10, 15 minutes to walk home with this dog shit all up my leg. That was pretty embarrassing. And obviously, even though I was with my mates, they still take the piss, don't they? So that's probably one of the most embarrassing ones, I would say.
Do you have any life goals?
Any life goals?
Yeah.
Not major, particularly. Keep working, keep bringing in the wages, have a nice, simple life, have enough to get by without struggling too much, and that would really be about it. I'm quite simple on things like that. I'm not greedy or nothing.
Do you regret anything?
Sorry?
Any regrets?
Any regrets? No, not really. No, not really. No, there's not much. Really.
Okay. Where will you be in 5 years' time? Except for 5 years old.
In 5 years, I might be here, mate, being bloody interviewed by you or doing the same thing back to you.
I don't know. 5 years from now, you're doing another interview.
That's it, yeah. And then you could say, do you remember what you said 5 years ago? And I said, yeah, I'll be here doing the same. Oh, 5 years. Oh, 5 years. I don't know. Hopefully still be working. I've got a few issues with parts of my body, as in arms and knees and that. So hopefully I'll still be fit and healthy enough to work. Happy. And hopefully enjoying my life with my wife, really. Making the most of it.
Okay.
Quite boring, really.
Yeah, it's okay. 3 positive things you could say about your last boss.
Ooh. 3 nice things.
Yeah, positive. You can say 3 nasty things if you want.
3 nice things. Or just 3 things I could say about my last boss. My last boss. I think who it was. I think my last boss. Oh God. Which was, yeah. My last proper boss, I would say, was in the factory that I couldn't stand. Now, I never really saw him because you never do in a factory, really. You don't see your bosses, do you? But there was one lad who was slightly above me. He'd worked his way up a bit, and he was a bit jumped up. He was a pain in the arse. So, yeah, I mean, he was a twat, to be honest. He was a twat. I just couldn't be doing with him. That's about the only thing I can say about him. Yeah, I don't know really. I think every time you've left a job, the only thing you think of your boss is their twats, isn't it? Really, hence probably the reason that most people aren't in a job is because of their boss that they don't get on with. But I've met some of my old bosses, you know, since I've left, and I've spoken to them and I've been fine with them. I don't think anything's personal generally in a job. I think it's always just because you're fed up at work and they have a job to do. And I think that's when you grow up, I think you realise that, don't you?
They've got bosses above them and they've got different life challenges and
yeah. I mean, you know, there's probably cool. I remember when I worked in Iceland years ago, I had two real good mates who worked there with me. I was about 3-4 years older than them, maybe 5 years, I don't know. But I was kind of in charge of them, but we were mates. We used to go out a weekend and that. But when it come to work, I would get on their back and expect them to work. And I mean, I wanted them to work just to make my life easier at work. And I did say to them one time, I said, I bet you hated me at work. And then they said, oh, I used to get on a nerve sometimes, but it was all right, like, you know.
Well, I still talk to you, so you weren't that bad then.
No, I couldn't have been that bad. We had a good crack and what have you said.
Me terrible comments again.
I'll just grab a top up while you're going through some comments.
Down to my boss last Christmas party. Okay, Spear. So I'll go back to that and ask him when he's back. Question for you from Alan. Alan's getting all the good questions in.
Just wait for me, machine, to shut up.
Best holiday destination ever.
What was that again? Sorry.
Best holiday destination ever. Alan Mead has asked it.
Oh, best holiday. Oh, Jamaica. Absolutely lovely. It's beautiful in Jamaica.
Disco is asking Iceland the shop or Iceland the country. So
I would have probably been better off in the country, to be honest. It was just as cold in the bloody freezer as Iceland the country. So
let's see what is it coming up for you? Taxi, okay. If you were standing in front of your 16-year-old self, what advice would you give him?
Oh dear. Well, I've got to be honest. This is quite a funny question, really. Because my wife, she didn't. Obviously, we've only been together 10 years.
Yeah.
And I always criticise, or I will be critical of kids, or have been, and of teenagers and everything these days. And she often comes out and says, "Oh, I bet you was a little so and so when you were younger, and this, that, and the other." And I've always said, "No, I wasn't actually. No, I was quite growing up and sensible, really. Although I still went out on the beer and that. I wasn't one to go out fighting. I went to work and done all this, that, and the other. But my advice would probably be, my biggest downfall maybe sometimes I could be a little bit outspoken, but I actually think my 16-year-old self could have a word with me now for being outspoken, because I'm worse now. I've got too many opinions at times, and although I might not put them out on YouTube, I'm certainly not shy in saying what I like to people. If I upset them, I don't give them monkeys, and if they don't like me, they don't like me. So keep plugging away. If I was going to give any advice to me 16-year-old self, keep plugging at life. Don't let anything get you down. Don't let the bastards get you down. That's what I would say.
David Jones has come back. First crush.
First crush. Of a singer or movie
No,
star.
first crush. I think first crush. Forget singer, dancer, or movie star. First crush.
First crush.
Yeah. So when you go.
First crush. I would probably say Cheryl Baker from Bucks Fizz.
Okay, what's the first crush of someone you actually know? Someone in your school or friend?
My first crush.
Yeah.
I was about 6, I think, and her name was Deborah Marsh. Blonde-haired girl. I always quite fancied her, and I think I took her to McDonald's once. No, it was probably older than 5 or 6. It must have been older. It was probably about 8 or 9, maybe. And I think I took her to Epsom, and we went to McDonald's. I sort of took her out for a date thing. That was probably my first crush in anything, but never really sort of went out.
What's the weirdest thing you've done while drunk?
Oh Christ, the weirdest thing I've done while drunk. Oh, I don't think I've done anything particularly weird. I've fallen asleep walking home and opened my eyes and found myself halfway down someone's front garden. I've fallen backwards down the stairs and smacked my head on a bloody something in the hallway. I've gone to sit on the bed when I've been drunk and missed it. I've fallen asleep in the bathroom. I've fallen asleep in the garden. I don't think I've ever done anything particularly weird, but I've done some daft shit.
Ever arrested?
Never been arrested, no. I got told off by the police because me and my mate were messing around one night coming home from a nightclub, and he was trying to push me through someone's front edge. So they was telling him off and my legs were just sticking in the air. That's about it, really. Nothing too major, though, really. I've been sick a lot as well when I've been drunk.
My weirdest thing, I've ended up in Wales after a night out in Ireland, so you don't know about that.
I'm sure you've ended up doing lots of daft things, but there's probably lots like. I don't think I've ever done anything nuts. Not really.
Okay.
Can't beat a bit of Cheryl Baker. She was hot in the day.
I'll have to look it up after we finish. Yeah, most hated Premier League team.
Man United.
Why?
I can't stand them. Mostly their fans are arrogant, I think. No offence if you're a Man United fan, but
I am.
But I will say, when they were winning everything, they were far and away the best team going.
Okay.
Best team going.
I'm terrible at reading that. Okay. Yeah. I'm used to these comments. Takes me ages to read it. I need glasses or something.
It's not very big on my screen, so it's quite hard to see.
No, it's terrible on my screen now. I don't know. You're probably using your phone, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm using laptop, but still it's greatest weakness.
Any what, sorry?
Greatest weakness.
Worst weakness. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's probably one of them. I'm too easily tempted by a beer. That's not a good thing, really. Worst weakness. Yeah, that's probably about it, really. I don't know. My missus, if she was sitting here, I mean, she could probably come up with about 20 things. But otherwise, I don't think I don't think I've got too many issues.
If you had a warning label, what would it say?
If I had a what? Sorry?
A warning label.
Oh, if I had a warning. A warning label. Do not agitate because he might explode. And P.S. he also has a smelly bum.
Okay. What are the 3 craziest things you've done for love?
3 craziest things I've done for love. Jesus. 3 craziest things I've done for love. I don't think I've ever done anything really crazy, I don't think. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I've done anything mad really for love. I don't know. Is that trying to tempt somebody to be with you, or just stupid things?
Stupid things you've done for love.
I've drunk and drove in the past, just to go and get me missus some food when we've both been out. So that wasn't crazy or bloody stupid. Probably more bloody stupid, really. I've turned up. I think I proposed to my wife when she was at work in her cafe, because she used to run a cafe. So I think I turned up and proposed in front of people, maybe. Other crazy things, probably just putting up with them, really. I think that's pretty crazy, isn't it, for love? Sometimes.
Okay. Would you count yourself an extrovert or an introvert?
Introvert. I can be quite outgoing with people I know and talkative to people, but I'm also very quiet. I'm terrible in big groups of people that I don't know. My missus goes nuts with me because I'm very unsociable, and I kind of close myself in. So I would say introvert, really.
Do you collect anything?
Do I collect anything? Dart shirts, dart memorabilia. I collected lots of that stuff, but it has got to a point where I'm running out of room, because dart shirts are rather big when you frame them, aren't they? So there's only so much wall space. I'm collecting bottle caps, actually, because I do plan on doing a bottle cap table, making one. And I was collecting bottles as well, but I had about 60 of them and it was starting to look untidy. So I thought, no, I can't keep this up because it would just be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm doing something too, and just with cans of bottles, I had nowhere to put them, and they all went to the recycling.
Probably glasses as well. I'm a bit of a hoarder for glasses, beer glasses, but.
Do you think it makes a difference, the glass?
Yes. There's definitely differences in certain glasses. I think you probably, I mean, I've got shitloads of glasses. Some, most of them are duplicate. They're not all different, but
yeah.
But you could probably get away with about 4 glasses, really, I think, for the styles of beer that there is.
Hi, Simo. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Simo's in. He's a fair chap, and Simo. You've got to get him on. You've got to get him on.
Yeah, I'm working through people. It's hard to get people organised. Well, life is busy for people. When did you stop believing in Santi?
I start believing in what? Sorry, because it broke up then.
Sorry? Santi. Santa Claus. Father Christmas.
Oh, when did I stop believing?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ, I don't know, really. Oh, I think it was quite early. I think I was really young, really. Probably sort of around the time my dad died, I would think. I don't know, it's probably before then, but I just think Christmases were different then when my dad died. So, yeah, Christmas was still quite enjoyable, but I never really went nuts over Christmas. So I would say quite young. Quite young.
Age 10?
Yeah, 10. Yeah, my dad died at 12. I was 12. 12 I was, yeah. So I would say, yeah, somewhere between, say, 10 and 12.
Do you ever play video games? David Jones.
I don't play enough. I used to collect all the bloody game systems. I used to have them all. I have sold some. I've got Raspberry Pi. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's basically a little computer with all the old sort of games, old school games.
Yeah.
I've got a PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Wii, a Nintendo Wii U. But I haven't played them for a long time. And generally the games I play, or the game I will play, is Rock Band on the Xbox. Get the old guitar out and have a mess around on that. I love that.
Okay, that fits in nicely. Square Table has asked best karaoke song.
Best karaoke song. Ooh. I don't do many karaoke songs. I used to, going back when I was working in Iceland, when I used to go out with the lads, we used to end up in the town, and we used to go to this one pub that had karaoke. I used to do a lot of Beatles stuff. But I think the last time I done karaoke in a pub was in Llandudno, and I went away with my current wife and a couple of friends, and I got up in this big pub, and there was loads of people there. It's more like I wouldn't say a nightclub, but a really big pub. And I done Delilah, but I didn't do the clean version of Delilah. So I done the Stoke City version, and if you've heard that, you'll know what I mean.
I haven't. You'll have to see the end.
We're not going down that route.
Okay. Favorite childhood memory.
Favorite childhood memory. Cool. I don't have many, to be honest. I don't remember much from my childhood. Cool. Yeah, I don't really have a favourite, really. There's a few things that I sort of remember. I remember stopping at my best.
I'll put it differently then. First memory then, we say when you were a child. What's your first memory?
Oh, Christ. That's even harder. I would say that honestly is even harder. A couple of favourite ones, honestly, is probably I stopped at a friend's house the night before my birthday. My best friend used to live next door but one. So we slept in his tent, camped out in his tent in the garden. And the following morning, I had an inkling of what I was going to get for my birthday. And I sneaked over the two fences early on in the morning, and I had a nosy through the front room window. And I had a brand new chopper bike sitting there, black one with the silver writing and everything, looked real mint. So that's a nice memory. And I also remember one Christmas getting a big ghetto blaster, big, massive, like Philips bloody big speaker thing. So those were good memories, and I had some nice memories, I suppose, when we went on holiday to the New Forest and that. But it's a bit odd because my dad died so young. Really, there's a lot of memories where I could have had and probably thought about it more. But when you're a kid, you kind of just go through life, don't you? When you're young, you don't really think.
What do you watch in Netflix, YouTube? What do you entertainment-wise?
Entertainment-wise, we've got Sky and all that lot, but we tend to watch Netflix a lot. If I'm not watching just random stuff on YouTube, believe it or not, I don't actually just watch beer reviews on YouTube. I get into all these restoration videos where people have dug something up from years ago and they restore it. So I'm quite into that stuff. But I used to watch a lot of Man vs. Food on Sky because I love food and I like big portions of food because I'm a greedy pig. But on Netflix, we're watching. We started about a month ago, I think, on Line of Duty, but that's not on Netflix. That's just on Catch Up. So we're watching that. We've watched. There's a program on Netflix called Colony. So we're up to date with that. There's something else as well. I can't think off the top of my head. But we tend to just not anything in particular. Certain things take our fancy. We'll sit and watch the previews, sci-fi stuff, comedy stuff. Sometimes we watch movies on there. It's all a bit random, really.
Okay. hero. Who's your biggest hero?
Just in life? Just
Yeah.
in life, yeah. Probably looking back now, as much of a, as I got older, I wasn't nasty to me mum. I wasn't nasty to her, but I could have been a better son probably. And this is as I was older, not in the teenage years. I was never a little shit or anything, but as I got older, and your mums get older, they get a little bit hard work, don't they? So I think, looking back in hindsight, probably me mum. Really, I didn't realise how much she meant to me until she was gone.
Alameda has spicy or mild.
Ah, spicy. It's got to be spicy.
Okay. Into rude comments again. Are you good with technology then?
Am I good? No. You should know that, Thomas. If you've seen me on any of these things, I'm useless. I used to be quite good years ago, when everything was just a simple cable and banging a cable here, banging a cable there, and doing that. But I've never been any good with computers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. How old are you, Thomas?
35.
35. So you're 15 years sort of younger than me. So you've probably grown up with a lot more of this sort of stuff more than me, I would say. So I'm not good with technology. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. For sure, you have a YouTube channel. You know how to work a phone. You're pretty good. You edit your videos.
Do I edit them? No. No. I don't do any of that editing stuff. Me father-in-law said to me, "Oh, why didn't you do a little bit of editing?" And I'm like, one, I wouldn't know how to do it, and two, I can't be asked. The only bit of, it's not even editing. The only thing I do is, if I do a beer review from the Perfect Draft, I'll do a little bit of chat at the start, and then I'll say I'll go and do a video of the pour.
Yeah.
And I press pause on my phone, and that's it. And then I press resume when I'm and then pause it. That's as much editing as I do. Since I've gone monetized, and you have to use the laptop, I've gone through and sort of done thumbnails and that for all my videos. That's quite simple though. But otherwise, I don't edit videos. I'm not very good with technology really.
Do you know how many followers you have?
Yes, because I'm a bit sad like that. Well, followers as in on YouTube or sort of it. Yeah, well, the last time I looked, I think I had 1,181.
Okay.
Don't ask me about Instagram because I haven't got a clue with that still. I'm still learning.
What do you put your success down to? Because you've been, a year and, 4 months? Something like that.
March, I started 31st of March in 2020, so just over, innit? Just over 12 months, I suppose. 14 months. My success, I have no idea really. I think the biggest thing I would say, judging from what my videos, the views my videos get, is because I've got the Perfect Draft and the Blade, and I do some Pinter videos. I think that attracts a lot of people because a lot of people have it. Some people have said I'm straightforward and honest and all that lot, so that obviously must appeal to some people. But I don't think to talk like I'm successful is a bit it's a bit weird, really. I'm not, I suppose it's going well, but I don't really.
Well, if you compare yourself to other kind of beer reviewers, if that's what you want. We say, I think it's Craig from Kent Beer Reviews. He only has 1,000 lately. I think Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews only have 1,000 this year as well. Like, there are two people who would have followed for a while, and they've been around for a good few years.
Yeah.
And within a year, you've got over 1,000, like.
Yeah, and again, I do think it is because of the machines. Really, I think that's the biggest bulk of it. Not only that, but I started during lockdown, didn't I? So I suppose there's just a lot of people that were watching. Obviously, being friendly with Scott and Dean, they obviously, that helped being in their company to a certain extent. Obviously, because people would subscribe, but I don't think I do anything particularly special extra. I don't think that anyone else does, really. I like anything. I suppose you appeal to some, you appeal to some. Personal taste, isn't it?
Disco Rasco has a question. Let me get closer. How often do you practice or play darts? What's your average score? And what's your highest finish?
Right. I haven't played darts for a long time or practiced. I used to be religious. I used to practice stupid amounts. I was up the... Oh, Christ. I would always have a throw at home. Probably play 20, 30 legs of darts on my own. When I worked in my dart shop, I had a balled up, so I would practice. Depends on how busy you are, obviously, but I could probably practice 3-4 hours a day in the dart shop. I would be playing darts in the pub 3-4 times a week, if not more. A Saturday after work, I would be in the pub for 3-4 hours playing darts. So I used to practice lots. My average varies. I was never a world beater, but I think in a match my highest average that was recorded, because certain leagues they would record the average, others it would just be a case of if you counted how many darts you'd had. But my highest recorded average was about 27 a dart. Okay. In a match that I won, so that's coming in at about 84, 85. Is it? Or is it 60? 81. No. Yeah, about 81 that was. But I know that I probably had a few games where I won games 2-0 and I probably had 2 15 legs, which would come in at 100 average, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not much of a darts player now. I never could get game with. I'm used to most sports.
It's something that I used to be big on playing pool, and then I just happened. I only sort of really, I mean, everyone has a dart ball, don't they, at home, or have done in their childhood or whatever. But I started playing, I think, having a go in about 97, and I started out real sort of low down and what have you. I had a spell probably of about 4 or 5 years where I was chucking some really good darts. Highest finish, I think it's only about, well, say only. I think it's 160, I think, or 164. But in a match, I've had 156. That was to win the game, that was.
Okay.
But yeah, it's sort of, but now I went so bad that it's actually just turned me off darts. And I can't even throw a dart. I couldn't even get a dart to stick into a ball. But I do need to get back into it. Just before lockdown, I was going to sign up for another team. But obviously everything's gone tits up on it. So if it all goes back to normal, I might get back into it, because it's a Friday night out as well with the lads. So
Square Table's asking, what's your favorite darts game, or cricket, or like 301?
Ooh. I always used to like where we are. I used to like 301. I don't know if it's the same, but we generally play 501 straight off, just scoring. But I used to enjoy. I played in a league where it was 301, double off and double out, and I found that interesting because it was a chat. You needed to get off in that game, so it made it a little bit more interesting. Cricket, I don't. Well, used to play cricket. Maybe if there was a few lads on a Saturday afternoon in the pub, we'd chuck a quid in, and you'd have a bit of a game. But yeah, 301 probably.
Okay, let's do it. Trying to go through these comments. I always get to name Risco, Rasco, Disco. My team have been doing weeklies games on Zoom. Still, my average is 40.
40 to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to look at averages and go, oh, well, you're not very good there, but it's a lot harder than you think. I mean, I used to play Super League, which is sort of like just below county standard. And I was told when I started playing that, if you can average 60, you'll be doing all right. But what you find is you can probably, if you average your scores, you could probably be averaging 80, 90. But it comes down to missed starts at finishing and what have you. So
yeah,
you can soon lose lots of points. So I mean, if he's averaging 40 to 50, he's probably averaging 65, 75 on scoring, which isn't bad. It's all right. It's all right. It's quite, it's a good steady game.
Square Table says he likes the live streams better. I'm guessing that's for everyone. Yeah, I think the live streams a lot more than watching videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing a few more. I think it's just getting round to it and organising it. It seems to be what everyone wants, doesn't it? They seem to want the lives.
Or I think YouTube are pushing them short videos now.
Right, yeah.
The shorts, the 60-second videos coming from TikTok mainly, I think they're trying to get people.
Yeah.
Me and comments saying. So someone commented on Simo's saying he's more towards. Yeah,
I do lots of moving actually. I'm backwards and forwards. I must look like I must be a bit of a nightmare if you had 20 pints watching me.
Yeah.
Be like a bit I'm not even going to try and say it. I know what I'm trying to say, but
go from 85. Yeah. 85 to Risco's asked I can go from 85 one set, 3x or 7x.
Yeah. It's a funny game, darts. You can be fantastic 1 minute and can't hit anything. 501, yeah, I like 501 as well. But I just like the 301 because it was interesting because it did 301. If you're playing double in and double finish, we can all miss doubles, so it's a big evener. You could be up against someone who can't play particularly well, and if they get off first start in 301 double off and you don't, you're chasing them then, and it doesn't take much to get from 301 to 101 or down to a finish. So yeah, it's interesting like that.
Yeah, darts just kind of goes over my head. I know. I know it's kind of the score 301 or 501, but after that, like.
Terry's here.
Yeah, first time I think I haven't seen Terry come in.
God knows how long. Terry needs to come back, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I loved his reviews. His reviews were class now. One person's I used to watch a good bit before I started.
Yeah, I used to. He might have been one I started to watch in the early days, actually. It's been that long that you kind of forget, don't you?
Another legend has come in, Shark home brewing.
Oh.
Favorite sport? Probably Gaelic hurling. If I had to pick one. Best question you could ask someone.
Oh, best question. God. You'll start seeing a routine with my answers now, and it's not because I'm trying to avoid anything, but surely that depends on who you're asking, doesn't it, really? It depends who you're asking, doesn't it? I mean, if you was asking David Beckham, you'd probably say, what's Posh Spice like in bed? But that wouldn't work with the Anthony Hopkins, would it? You couldn't ask that one. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you can answer that. It comes down to who you're asking, doesn't it?
If you could have
Here's a question then. Here's a question for you, Thomas.
I don't answer questions. I ask them.
You do, yeah. Here's a question for you. How have you found going on YouTube? Especially changing what you used to do to start off with, because I know you was a bit nervous, weren't you?
I still am. I hate this. I hate going live. I hate putting up videos. That negative voice in my back of my head is always going.
But the fact that you keep doing videos and you have people watching and commenting, surely should bring a bit of confidence.
No one watches my videos, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah. So yeah, well, I help my anxiety a good bit. But
you get views. You've got a few subscribers there.
Yeah, I think it's got 170, 180, something around that. I haven't checked in a good while.
Well, I'll tell you how many you got. You got 189 when I looked.
Okay. Thank you for all the 189.
So you must be doing something right. I love the idea of this as well. I love the idea. I remember when you were interviewing Paul. I thought, what a great idea. There's something that no one else has done, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, because some of the other lives, like where we have a lot of people on, I think I went down a few more. I think I went down Craig's and I went down Harry's, and I think I get lost.
Yeah,
because a lot of people, you want some of the beer tubers who constantly do lives and are kind of friendly, and unless you're going in and pose yourself, which I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not saying there's nothing wrong with them. I watch a lot of them, but it's just hard to.
I think when you've got more than two, it's hard to. When it's live, it's all right if you're sitting there next to each other, but it's not the same as actually being on. No,
or if it's organized, if it's like we're going to drink these 4 beers, and then there's 3 or 4 people on, and you can kind of go around and tell people what you think of the beer or something like that. I think Scott and who was it? The 3 of them are doing the live on Sunday, kind of something trying different beers. Blue Van and something like that is something different too. I think that's something good. Scott is to start there. Okay. Okay, have you any questions then? We'll try to finish up. I wasted an hour 45 of your life.
You haven't wasted it. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it, actually. Really enjoyed it. Problem is, you've got somebody you're trying to interview somebody who has very little to say generally.
Yeah.
Answering a question, I'm not very good, really. And then other times I just waffle on.
Well, we've waffled on for an hour 45. So any plans? That's the final question. Can you answer? Have you any plans for life?
For the channel?
Yeah, for the channel. We'll go for the channel.
For the channel, I don't think there's a lot more going to come. As you know, I do the odd food ones. The biggest plan is probably to maybe get some more lives out. But beer wise, you know, I do sort of every sort of beer thing. You know, like I said, I got the machines. I do the supermarket stuff. I do all that. So I don't think I can go anywhere with that. I'm doing the food things. I'm not going to go into. I do my little spicy challenge thing, but I'm not going to go into buying every single food from supermarkets and that, and giving reviews and that. I'm not going to go down that route. I've got my little story thing, which I only done one of them, which personally I thought was a bit of a disaster. So I do want to do a few more adult stories, if you like, and hopefully make them a bit more fun and interesting. There might be a couple more work videos or something just to, but otherwise I think I'll just keep rolling as I'm going.
Okay.
the biggest thing is more lives. I think more lives. And
Okay, can you hold on for 1 second? I'm just trying to go to the door.
yeah.
You can talk to the people.
Talk to them, God. People, listen to me. I'm here. Yeah, so whoever's watching, I'm sure you're all sub to Thomas anyway, but if you're not, give him some support. Lovely lad. He supports everyone as well. And I like the fact that he does a lot of Irish beers, and there's a lot that I wouldn't even have heard of or know of. So he has got a little bit of a niche market there, and obviously these sort of videos that he's doing, keep following as well, because I've really enjoyed it, and I'm sure all the other guys have that have done them. It's been nice talking to him. It's been fun. It's been enjoyable.
What was you saying about me now?
I was just saying, getting people to subscribe to you, and actually, you're a top lad. You are, because I see you supporting every single. Well, you seem to be supporting every single channel. Every time I look, you either commented, and you deserve everything you get out of it. You really do. And you're a nice lad as well. You bring different stuff because you're in Ireland. People are seeing different stuff. So I just think it's great. And this interview thing, like I say, I genuinely think it's fantastic. I think what you're doing with this is something totally different, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I enjoy talking to different people. You kind of get a different sense of what people are. You watch people, like I brought some people from Instagram, like Alan was on a couple of weeks back. Had a couple of different people on. You kind of get a bit behind the scenes of them. Get to know them.
Here's a question for you. When you start and you come up with this idea to interview people, yeah?
Yeah.
Was it just downright nosiness, or are you actually interested in what other people have got to say?
I'm completely nosy. That's what I am.
It's got to be a bit of nosiness, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Because I watch the lives and it's why aren't they asking a certain question to someone? Watch two people or three people you watch you were on with Scott or something. Why isn't he asking?
Yeah.
And so I guess
I think we're all like that, aren't we? We're all like that, Thomas.
Okay. I think we'll finish up there now. I've run out of beer. Beer's down there, and I have to go get it.
You run out of beer and you run out of questions.
Yeah. I don't want to start getting drunk in the stream. I've already had a few beers, so thanks whoever has watched, commented, shared, liked, subscribed. If you're watching this on replay and you've got to 1 hour 48, well done.
Yeah, they've got better than us.
Yeah. And I will see you next week. Hopefully I will have someone joining us. Can't announce anything to next week. Yeah, and I will hit this big red button up here. And see you next week. Bye everyone.
See you everyone.
And how do we hit the red button?